What's up, world? It's the Javelin Breakdown, and today we're going to be talking about things that you should be thinking about when you're picking a college as a track and field athlete. Let's get started. So we're going to talk about academic considerations, athletic considerations, and then stick around for the end when I tell you where I would go to school if I was picking right now and had to choose differently. So stay tuned. Before we jump into academic considerations, I want to add the caveat that this video is going to be really helpful if you have a good idea of what you want to study and you believe that studying that, going to college or university for that major is going to help you in your future career. There's nothing wrong with not going to college or not knowing what you want to study, but you want to go to college. Take your time. This is a huge decision, and so there's no need to rush. So take your time, talk to people you trust, people who are invested in you, and explore your interests. There's lots of roads to success and a fulfilled life. So let's jump into academic considerations, and we're going to start there because ultimately your academics are the most important thing. So you have a good idea of what you want to study, so now you're going to be looking for schools that have that program, have that major, and you want to ask yourself these kinds of questions. What's the reputation of the program? What's the job placement rate of that program? Has that program had athletes before? Have they had track and field athletes? Are they recent grads? Can you talk to them? Can you see what they've been up to? Can they talk to you about their experience? That right there, if you can find that, that's a gold mine because that's potentially your story. And so you want to have a good idea of what you're in for. And if not, you can still talk to students who are in the program now and get a good sense of what the program's like, what they don't like. Students tend to be an open book and are going to tell you like it is, good and bad. If you have the opportunity, sit in on classes, talk to the faculty. If you can, meet with someone who's higher up in the program, whether it's the department chair or more involved in development of the program. Where do they see the program going? What are their goals? What are they proud of? What are they going to talk about? That tells you a lot about that academic program. That can be a big telltale. So those are just some of the things I'd recommend you think about when it comes to the academics. Let's shift gears and talk about athletics. So you found a school with your major and they have a track and field program. Now what? Well, you want to know both head coach and event group coaches, these kinds of things. How long have they been there? What's their resume in terms of accolades? Have they developed athletes who come in at a certain level and are able to graduate and have achieved much higher? Especially if you have specific goals, have they ever worked with someone that got to that level? Not just came in at that level, but was, steps below that and was able to achieve, higher marks. What's the reputation of the team culture there? What do current athletes say? What do alumni say? People will tell you the truth because they'll either want to brag that their experience was great or they'll want to warn you and tell you, these things weren't so good. People are generally pretty honest, and so I highly recommend ask the hard questions. And specifically on the years of experience, it's really helpful to know because sometimes coaches are looking to move up and literally move to other schools to get more money, more opportunities, closer to family, all kinds of considerations. And so it would really suck for you to go somewhere and then you be there for some time and then that event coach leave and you have to work with a new coach and that may or may not be the best relationship. And that happens, and that's adversity, and that's part of life. But if you can help it and do research on the front end, it's not something you can control, but it's something you can be aware of. Additionally, with the program, where does the program stand in terms of academics? Historically, did people graduate and get a job? Some teams have better job placement rates, better GPAs, and things like that. So those are questions to ask because coaches will be quick to brag about athletes that not only have done well athletically, but they'll be like, oh, so-and-so's working here, working there, oh, we have a lot of people in this major, that major, your major, they're going to be there for you. And so coaches will be quick to share that if they have that. If they're shady, they'll probably avoid talking about that. So you bringing it up will reveal that, or hopefully they'll be honest and tell you like it is, and that's the way it should be. Facility considerations is another thing. If you're used to a certain amount of resources and whatnot, and then you go to a smaller school, especially maybe a Division III school, that athletic department has to fight more to get funds to do even small things compared to these Division I schools that have millions of dollars in their locker rooms and water slides and maybe not water slides, but Anyways, point being, especially track and field, there's not always the biggest budget. And so ask yourself, okay, what's the school have? What am I used to? Can I make do with what they have? Or do I need to be somewhere with more? I personally kept the Javelins in my dorm room because the places that we could keep them were kind of hard to get to at times. Sometimes someone from the school would lock them by accident. And so it just made the most sense for me to do. And that meant I was hauling them around and keeping them in classrooms throughout the day sometimes. And that was annoying, but to me, it was like, whatever, it's what I have to do. And I was fine with that. But somebody else might be like, I can't do that, and there are people on the team that just never wanted to deal with that kind of stuff. So the facilities and the resources and weight room time, these are all things that you can start getting into, and they're not the most important thing. To me, it's worth it to ask those questions, and they play some role in your decision. At least you're aware, right? You're not going to be going in blind, because again, college is a big decision. So really, take your time, evaluate. These are a lot of things to think about. Certainly not an exhaustive list, but hopefully maybe something I shared with you is new and you haven't heard from someone before, and you're going to ask that question and you're going to learn something you wouldn't have otherwise known. Small interjection, totally haven't talked about Division 1, 2, or 3 and differences and whatnot. I've already recorded everything and I'm realizing I got to talk about this because so many people are like, I got to be D1 bound, I got to be this, I got to be that. Track and field's really cool. You can be really good at any level. It doesn't matter. And so some schools, like Messiah, for me, did a really great job and would take us to Princeton, to Bucknell, to Penn Relays, to Penn State. I would go to meets where there'd be people that would smoke me and I'd barely make finals with a 200-foot throw because it's a bigger meet. So if you want to go to a smaller school because of the academics and some of the other things, go for it, and you can still be really great and do really well and throw at a really high level or run or whatever it is. From a team sport standpoint, the quality of the sport drops off from division to division to some degree, some sports more than others. But with track and field, you're not limited by that because you run as fast as you can or you throw as far as you can. And so obviously at the Division 1 and 2 level, there's more people throwing or more people doing things at a higher level, but you're not limited by that. So really don't get locked into that D1 bound thing if there's D3 or D2 programs that have lots of really great things for you. There's nothing wrong with going that path. You can still crush it, and it's a lot of fun to go to meets and beat Division 1 guys. Story time sometime soon. I'll have to tell you about when I got 4th place at Penn Relays my senior year. You can be really great. It doesn't matter what division. Thanks for sticking around. I'm going to tell you where I'd go to school. Let's say I'm a senior. This is my senior track and field spring. I'm coming in and I have thrown pretty far, and so I can kind of go wherever. I'm going to go to USC. USC's got a really great film program. If you didn't know, I studied film and media arts at Messiah College. It's now Messiah University. So going to USC, their film program is tremendous. It's in LA and in the heart of the film industry. And so get your foot in the door somewhere, work your way up. It would be a really great opportunity. And so academically, they would meet my needs. And additionally, their track and field program has had tremendous success. Their coaching staff is extremely experienced. And Martin Meurice just came there. So he was the throws coach at University of Virginia, and he did a tremendous job with Ethan Dabbs, Maria, Claudia Romero, and a bunch of other people just throwing really far and developing them from being pretty good to just really, really good, making world championship teams, international teams, just a tremendous level. So he's at USC now. This will be his first season this year, and so there's that consistency. Like he's moved out there, I believe, in part, be closer to family, and so hey, that gives me some confidence. He's probably going to be there for a couple years. And so between that and the film program and the history of USC, that'd be a great move. So hypothetically, in an alternative universe, that would be where I'd go if I had to pick right now. But ultimately, if I had to do it again and I could, I would just go to Messiah again. My experience was just tremendous. I had the opportunity to do a lot of things that at a bigger school I wouldn't be able to. Class sizes were a lot smaller. The culture of the program at Messiah is really great. The guys that were on the team when I was in school, I'm still friends with. They were at my wedding, they're in my life. And you can't say that about every program. And so for me, that was really important. Additionally to doing really well athletically, the experience of a small Christian college and having the community of believers and especially the team and getting to share everything with the guys, that was really important to me, and I wasn't going to get that anywhere else, at least in the area. So Messiah was the right fit for me and still would be the right fit for me. And so again, thank you for sticking around and watching this. Hopefully you've absorbed something that's going to help you in your decision or something you can pass on to someone else to help them in their decision. My Instagram DMs are always open, or leave a comment. Love to chat and be a resource. College is a big decision. And happy to be a resource. Appreciate that you're here and that you're on the journey and that I get to play some small part in it. And so for those of you training for 2023 in the spring, really looking forward to seeing what you do. Until next time, enjoy the journey.